Hi, I'm Belinda Risley, founder of Motivate Training and the Motorsport Sponsorship Club. This podcast is for grassroots motorsport athletes and parents who want to build successful careers both on and off the track. Each episode, I'll share practical strategies, sponsorship insights, and real-world advice to help build your brand, attract sponsors, and create more opportunities in the world of motorsports, because racing careers aren't built on the racetrack alone. Let's get started in today's episode. Hello, crew, and welcome to another episode of the Motorsport Sponsorship Podcast. I am your host, Belinda Risley. Team, if you missed last week's episode, we were touching base around laying the tracks. So what are your foundations? What are your tracks when it comes to setting up your sponsorship processes and systems? Do you have processes and systems? Where do you hold all of your content? So if you missed out of last week's episode, race over to your preferred podcast platform and check it out. This week we are talking about what is sponsorship and what is it not. Quite often I get asked that question, what does sponsorship actually mean? So that is the question I am asking you, not what you've been told, not what you hope it means, but what does it actually mean? Because I can tell you, team, after more than 20 years working in motorsport sponsorship, I can tell you that one misunderstanding is responsible for more rejected proposals than anything else. Too many athletes think sponsorship is about asking for money. However, businesses don't see it that way. They see it as an investment because motorsport is a business. So today, team, I want to explain what sponsorship really is and just as important, what it is not. So let's start off with what sponsorship is not. So sponsorship, team, is not free money. Businesses aren't charities. They're not responsible for funding your dreams. I know that can sound a little bit harsh, but it's one of the biggest mindset shifts athletes need to make. Businesses aren't charities. They don't owe us sponsorship. We earn it by becoming valuable. Sponsorship is also not just putting a sticker on your car. And if you've been following me for a while, or if you're new to my world, there is so much more to just a logo onto the car. That is actually the one thing I despise. If someone sends me through a proposal and saying, hey, you can get livery or I can put your sticker on the car and that's the number one point, I generally cringe. All right. And look, hey, that might have worked for a few years ago, but today businesses expect much more, especially thanks or not thanks to the world of social media, because why would they invest, say, $10,000 on your sticker content or your sticker kit when they can invest $10,000 in social media ads? So that's what the kind of mindset that I want you to thinking about. And also, they're expecting a lot more from our athletes. One of the benefits from social media is that you can actually communicate with your sponsors. That is a pro. But they're also expecting content from you. They're expecting updates, photos, videos, networking opportunities, activations, relationships. So that is what sponsorship is. So just recapping, sponsorship is basically not a charity. It's not a one-way business relationship. It is a business transaction. It's a partnership. So what value can you bring to the sponsors? It's got to be on equal value for both parties. However, what is sponsorship? So sponsorship is exactly that, a business partnership. It's two parties working together because both receive value. One party provides support and the other party provides agreed outcomes in return. Hence why it's very important that you have a sponsorship agreement, team. So regardless of who you're signing up to be a sponsor, if you don't have a sponsorship agreement, I highly recommend that you have one. We do have them available over on our website at motivatetraining.com.au that have been written by a sports lawyer. So they are all legit. All you need to do is purchase it, download it, and upload the relevant information to make that sponsorship agreement. And hey, that is how we show our professionalism. And that's exactly what sponsors are looking for. They're looking for athletes that are proactive in this space as well, especially if this is their first time sponsoring an athlete or sponsoring full stop. And team, when I say that one provides outcomes, so in return, notice I didn't say logos or stickers on a car. And I also didn't say race results. And I didn't even say money, because sponsorship isn't defined by cash. Again, I can't highlight and say enough that sponsorship is defined by value. When a business partners with you, they're investing in a relationship. They're trusting you to represent their brand, to communicate professionally, to create opportunities, to strengthen awareness, to build relationships with customers, to tell their story, to tell your story, to make them feel like they're part of your journey. That is sponsorship. So one thing I encourage every athlete to stop doing is leading with what they need. So again, I opened up about saying the biggest objection people get is that I send out proposals and I don't hear back and I don't know why. So I want you to start leading with what they need. So stop saying, I need money, I need tires, fuels, entry fees. I need. And before you can even put a proposal or identify some sort of package, as in high, medium, or low package, which will go into packages, or if you actually have already got a previous podcast episode on packages, which I'll link onto today's show notes. So if you're starting to put your packages together for the new financial year or the new race season, check out that podcast around the packages. So team, back to speaking and negotiating with businesses. Businesses don't make decisions based on your needs. They are going to base the decisions on their goals. So again, before you can put anything together, you need to have conversations. So you need to be asking questions like, what does this business need? Is it more customers? Are they after more brand awareness? Are they after more community engagement? So are they like a local small business that is sponsoring you because they have a community awareness program? Is it for staff rewards? Is part of a staff reward program internal for a potential sponsor that they give away hot laps or they give away weekends at the racetrack, especially if they're a national-based business? That is a value that they can add to their staff. Is it for you to provide them with content? And again, when I say content, it's not always motorsport related. So when we're thinking about sponsorship, when we're thinking about value, I also want you to think about who you are as a brand. So your hobbies and your interests outside of motorsports. All of these things make you up as an athlete, make you up as a brand. And that is what is, what's the word? And that is what is on the top of my tongue. Interesting. No, that's not the right word. But anyway, appealing. That's the word. Sorry, guys. That is what is appealing to sponsors. Okay, so think bigger than the world of your of you in motorsport. Are they after brand recognition? So again, this is why it's important that you establish your own brand, because brands associate with brands and people. So, for example, what do you want your brand to look like? Are you wanting it to be something that's fun and energetic? And then you need to think of brands that align with what brand you want to be known for. Are you going to be something more professional and maybe you're an older athlete and so it's more corporate based? Then those businesses are the ones that you're needing to target and attract to. Your conversations completely change once you understand what their objectives are. So you can't put proposals together, you cannot put packages together, you can't even really engage in second or third conversations until you have a clear understanding to the prospect, what are they wanting to get out of this partnership? And again, just be mindful of the word partnership. It means different things in different countries. A partnership to one business can mean very different things to another business. I always say the word partnership, but again, just clarify that word with the business that you are dealing with, because a partnership could be like ownership. So I have also done another episode about partnerships and that word. And again, I'll try and find it. I'm all coming back now. It's been a few years. I've got to come back and think about where did I put that? But it is in one of those episodes and I'll find it. But, this is episode 191, team. So there's lots of episodes, especially if you're new to the world of motorsports, that you can go back and catch up. A lot of them are driver interviews, industry experts, but a lot of them are also education around not only sponsorship, but building your brand, media, press releases, social media content, and the like, because that makes up the whole package for sponsorship. So, team, back to your not selling. kind of talk today, sponsorship. And here's another mindset shift. So you're not selling sponsorship, you're offering a marketing opportunity. And I always find talking to sponsors, especially smaller businesses, if you say the word sponsorship, and maybe you've been in this position that all of a sudden they cringe and they turn around and they kind of run away because like, no, I'm not interested. Or no, we don't do sponsorship. So we want to get into the habit of saying this is a marketing opportunity. All right, we have a marketing opportunity available for you if our demographics align. So our demographics being the people that watch, the people that they're trying to sell, the people that are attending the racetrack versus, again, the people they're trying to attract to their business. So you're not selling sponsorship, you're offering a marketing partnership. Imagine two conversations. So conversation one saying, would you sponsor me? As opposed to conversation two, hey, I've got a few ideas about how we could work together to help promote your business while supporting my racing. So team, my question is to you, which conversation sounds more valuable? One is asking, the other is collaborating. Again, it comes down to your processes, your systems, and your wording. And this comes part of building your brand. And like I just mentioned at the beginning of today's episode, about laying your tracks, your foundation. What is your sales process? And I've mentioned, what is your brand? Excuse me. I've already said that sponsorship isn't one with a proposal. And that team surprises a lot of people, especially, again, if you're starting out on your motorsport journey. A proposal doesn't win sponsorship, relationships do. Basically, your proposal is the last step in that negotiation for sponsorship or for getting a partner. A proposal simply helps support that conversation. It is the last step. So think about your own life. Would you invest thousands of dollars into someone you've never met before because they just emailed you a PDF? Probably not. Businesses are exactly the same. People invest in people. They partner with people they trust. So, what is your brand? What does your brand look like? How do you communicate your brand? And again, social media is not the only place. And I think more and more as the years are going on, people are getting off social media, which comes back to old school. How do you promote your brand? How do you promote yourself? The other myth that I see or mistake that I see athletes and parents may, team, is that sponsorship doesn't end when businesses say yes. Athletes celebrate when they get sponsorship. The truth, that, team, is when the actual work begins. Because now you have to put into place everything that you've discussed as far as activations, race reports, maybe even race results. Maybe your sponsorship or your partnership is financially based upon your race results. Have you thought about that? Now you need to keep your promises. You need to communicate. You need to send regular updates. You need to create content, whatever you've put into that sponsorship agreement. So again, do you have a sponsorship agreement that outlines legally what you have agreed upon inside of that sponsorship proposal? Have you invited your new prospect to the races? How many times have you said that you're going to buy them tickets? Have you made a budget to incorporate those tickets for that sponsor? And not saying that you need to, like for example, in karting, you don't need to buy entry is free to a race meeting, but you might want to buy them food or you might buy them lunch or something a little bit different. You need to spend money to make money, team, unfortunately. So again, it's not a one-way street. What does a partnership look? What does this small business look like now? And I want you to look for ways to add value. Even though you may have come up with a proposal and you may have come up with a sponsorship agreement, like in business, ideally, you want to under-deliver and over-promise. I said that in the wrong way. Because great sponsorship isn't just about getting a sponsor, it's about keeping them. Again, like in small business, it's easier to get repeat business than it is to continue to go out and get new customers. So once you actually have yes from somebody, that is when the ball starts to roll. And so many times I have seen it and be privy to it, that when one sponsor comes on board, that through that word of mouth and through that practice of setting up all the processes and systems, it's a lot easier then to get that second and that third sponsor on board and to keep them. But then what is your nurturing process? So last week we talked about your sales process. And again, I've got another podcast episode around about a sales process. And it's really important that you have that as well. So team, long-term thinking. I want you to stop thinking season by season, because ideally you want to be here for a long time, like I want you to be as well. And I want you to ask yourself, how can I become someone's businesses want to work with for the next 5 years? That's where the real sponsorship happens, with these long-term relationships. Just said, you get one, you network, then you get two, and then you start building them on board. And then all of a sudden you have enough sponsors. I mean, we never have enough really, but you do have sponsors to keep you on the track, or at least to pay for majority of your racing component. Just remember that businesses don't just want race results. They want reliability. They want someone they can trust, and they want someone they can share the success with. So team, bring it all together. What is sponsorship? Remembering it's a partnership. It's a relationship. It's value exchange between two parties. And what is it not? It is not free money. It is not a charity. And it's simply not a logo on a race car. And it's certainly not a one-way transaction. So team, when you start thinking like a business owner instead of someone looking for funding, everything changes. Again, Motorsport is a business. You're a small business owner. So this week, team, I want you to answer, more than one question that I've already proposed today, but not for me, but for yourself. What does sponsorship mean to you? I want you to take 5 or 10 minutes and write it down. And then ask yourself another question. If I owned a business, would I want to partner with someone who sees sponsorship the way I do today? You might be surprised by your answer. And of course, team, if you want, please send them through to me at win@motivatetraining.com.au, and I'll link in today's show. I'd love to see your comments. I'd love to see what you've come up with. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope it's challenged the way you've been thinking about sponsorship, because changing your mindset is the first step towards changing your results. And here's my little plug. Inside of the Motorsport Sponsorship Club, we don't just teach you how to ask for sponsorship. We help you understand what sponsorship really is, how businesses make decisions, and how to build partnerships that last for way beyond a single season. So before our next episode, I'd love you to reflect on one simple question. As I said, what does sponsorship mean for you? And once you can answer that clearly, you'll approach every sponsorship opportunity differently. So until next time, team, keep maximizing your performances on and off the track. And of course, if you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love for you to share it with another racing family and friends. And again, you can contact me anytime, win@motivatetraining.com.au. Maybe you have an idea for a podcast or episode. Maybe you have a question you'd like me to answer on the podcast. Please send them through. Don't be a stranger. I'm here to help you on your motorsport journey. Until next week, we are going to go through how sponsor ready are you? Thanks for joining me for another episode of the Motorsport Sponsorship Podcast. If today's episode helped you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another motorsport family. And if you're ready to take your off-track development seriously, find out more about the Motorsport Sponsorship Club using the link in the show notes. Until next time, keep building your brand, keep building relationships, and remember, the work you do off the track can be just as important as the laps you complete on it.